Previously on making a brochure design.
I stretched it out to fill in the page because there was nothing else that would be on that page. So we have our congregational hymn set, order of service set, and next was the autobiography. I finally readjusted it, changed the page. I didn't change the page settings, I just changed the positions of some things. The officiating minister would now come after the autobiography. This is where I'll be ending for today because this poem is quite a long one and this video has already exceeded the time I expected it to be. So I'll be working on this poem in the next video and I will show you what it turned out to be. Before we start, I thought of something, between the officiating ministers and every other thing and the goodwill messages. I felt there should be a page to indicate that we're about to enter into a new section, and that was what I did. So I created a separate page to place the goodwill message tablet or page, just a page dedicated to saying this is a goodwill message, or this section is now going to have goodwill messages. So I went to Photoshop and started. I picked the color of the gold I used and then used this pre-made image of my dad and adjusted it in ways that it would blend in. Then I created the page, wrote goodwill message on it, made it bigger and selected the font that should fit in. I was choosing fonts, I didn't know which one to go with, but I later chose something that was a bit comical and clear at the same time. So here is me choosing fonts. I saw the font I would use now, went back to it and I felt it was good, then I took it. I love the way it kind of broke some rules. As you can see, the I has a dot while others are written in capital letters. The E as well is written in small letters, so it's just mixed. Then I brought this image that has paper and feather pen and placed it there. I was to use it and because of the blue I had to change the blending mode to something that will make that blue disappear the most. When I found this, I felt this was the best for it, but because of the lines still showing, I had to use the brush tool and clean those areas up so that it will stand alone on its own. Duplicated it, found more blending modes to work with, and later changed my mind, deleted the duplicates, and also finished up with the rest of the design. So here I'm trying to see if I can add some effect to goodwill message, but at the end I decided okay, this was okay, resized it, repositioned it and kept it where it should be. Then I saved it in my assets folder, then took it to CorelDRAW, placed it on that page. So after the officiating ministers, you see the goodwill message and then you start seeing the goodwill messages. Then to continue with the goodwill messages, I added more messages from other friends and family members, organizations, church, you know how it goes. Resized it to fit. Because this was 2 pages, I had to fit them into one, rotating it, and there was another one like that as well, 2 pages as well, but then I rotated this one the other way so that when you will be reading it you can flip it that way and read it as well. I also made sure everything was the same size, so I just simply copied the size of the other one I did, pasted it on this one and made sure it was the same size with it. I now resized it, placed it on where it should be beside its order. So we have this and we have that. That was the next page. Now speaking of the poem, I told you I was going to show you how I later went about it in the next video. So here we go, let's start it up. I opened the file where it was, copied the whole write-up and pasted it in the new page, leaving the other area blank. I was going to be pasting something else there, a later design. So I first tried making it on a column where it would be one side of the column and the other side of the column will be free for other messages, and it was all going good and fine. So I adjusted and wrote the title copied everything necessary, made the formatting as it should be, creating spaces where there should be more spaces, paragraphs where there should be more paragraphs, making some lines bold text while the others were not bold text, just to make sure that it matches the format that the sender sent it in. Because if I don't do it that way, then of what use was she making it bold, adding the extra paragraphs and all that? So I made sure that it looked the way she sent it as well, except for the font, of course. When I was done with that, I added her name and resized it to where it would be, and more back and forth loading, of course. How will I place the name? Will it be in a box? Will it be underlined? Will it be in a curved rectangle or circular rectangle? What color will be the circular rectangle or the box? What if we make it black and the text white? What if we just make it a line? So many things going on in my head. At the end of the day, I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to be using any of this. So I kept it the way it was, just made it bold. Then I read through the poem to make sure that everything was good and fine as it should be. And I think everything was good and fine as it should be. Then the next thing was to add his picture, but there was no space to add it at first, I thought. So I just readjusted and went ahead to color that one that I have done it. I colored two because the person submitted twice, so I had to just color them both off since they were the same time. And then I went back to the empty space that was free before and added the next felicitation or goodwill message. Now this whole thing is repetitive over and over and over again, so to not bore you so much, I'll be back when I'm done with this whole goodwill messages. Then on to the last part of the goodwill messages, I added these ones, although this was more of an adjustment to what was meant to be. I will show you how everything turned out at the end. But let's move on. I entered into the photo gallery section. I wanted to create something quite different from how photo galleries look on brochures like this in my country. I don't know for others, but then I've not seen something that different, so I wanted to be the one to make the difference here. So I started with this shape and then the circle in between, and then I added another circle to make it a little bit spaced out. So I was still trying to choose the size. After that, I added the circle I needed and added a square or a rectangle underneath the shape on top, and it kept on going well. I added yet another rectangle, but see, trust the process, trust me, this is going to come out well. And I also measured to make sure that the gaps are equal between each other. There are many ways to measure and align your stuff, but I like using that one just because I like using it. Yes. Then when I was done with this page, I moved on to the next page and created something quite different as well. So first of all, a big rectangle. Then I picked up my pen tool after thinking of which one to go for here. I picked up my pen tool and I created this curvy shape, duplicated it and adjusted the contour because I added contour to it, and then made sure that it was placed where I wanted, duplicated it even more, rotated it to the other angle, horizontal, right? Yeah, horizontal angle. Next step was to then separate the contour from the lines and also use the contour to create grooves between that shape. I'll come back, I'll show you how it later turned out, but you're going to love this. You're definitely going to love this, so please stick around and watch how it turns out in the end. I did the same process, but this time around with straight lines, and created other contours, or created another contour on this one and copied the size to the rest of the contours so that some don't look too fat and some look too thin. They have to be uniform, right? So I used a uniform contour spacing, and I also broke it apart from the shape or from the line and then separated that line from the other shape. the underlying shape. I also added underline to this place. As you can see, my arrow drawing that line, but I would come back to that later. I went to the other one, copied the same design, pasted it on the other page, flipped it up. That was what you saw. Then on the last page, I simply just made it plain rectangles so that people will not think like, okay, this guy has gone bonkers. He has forgotten how to do things naturally. No, I have not, obviously. I just felt, why do things naturally when there are other better ways to do things? Then I started placing the pictures. Placing the pictures wasn't a big deal. What was a big deal was finding the pictures to place at the same time, at that same point, because some of these things must come in a particular order. If you miss the order, you miss the order. You have to redo it. So I did a lot more back and forth. This picture with me and my dad is not where it's meant to be. I'm here that my brother and my dad is, but you see what I just did? This is not what you will see when I'm done with this design. So what is even true? Then I placed my dad in the center, and also this same picture is not even the picture. Was it? I'm not, I don't think it was the picture I ended up with. No, I don't think it was, but this is just to show you the process of what I did. And I'll be ending this video here, and I'll be doing a lot more placements behind the scene. So please do well to like, subscribe, comment. If you've not subscribed, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And there is a video that came before this one. Please go and watch that video, and I will see you in the next one. The last part is loading. Hope you are ready. Bye.